Hey guys, the Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy. Welcome back to some more reviews. And today we're going to be getting to a 80s classic horror film that I was very glad I seen. Really, really awesome film. Today we're talking about House, which is part of the double pack as you see here. I know there's an Arrow set, Blu-ray set, but I'm fine with this. This looks great and still has, well, doesn't really have any features, but it looks good. And, I'm fine with this DVD. I know there's a House 3 and 4. House 3, I think it's called The Horror Show. I don't really enough want to watch that. I mean, it's not... The thing about House 3 and 4 is that, first of all, House 3 wasn't even meant to be called House. It was a movie called The Horror Show, and they just titled it House 3. And then House 4 is some really awful sequel that I heard was pretty bad. House 3 is kind of like Hills of Eyes Part 3, Mind Ripper. It was supposed to be called just Mind Ripper, but they called it Hills of Eyes Part 3, Mind Ripper. But I think I'll just talk about the first two movies for now, because these are the ones I was really interested in seeing, both films actually. Because I also heard that House 2 was pretty good. But yeah, talk about the first film, House, today, which came out in 1985 with a 6.2 on IMDb, of course, written by Steve Miner, and written by Fred Dekker. Now, Fred Dekker, of course, go on to be involved with a lot of things as far as the Monster Squad. I know he made RoboCop 3, which I haven't seen RoboCop 3, but I've heard a lot of bad things about it. I believe he also wrote The Predator from 2018. I believe. And then, what else did he make? He made another film as well, or I don't know if he made it. Yeah, he directed Night of the Creeps. How could I forget? So yeah, Fred Dekker writing, Steve Miner directing. Awesome. What a great combo there. And not only do you have that, but you also have a wonderful cast of this movie. I mean, you have William Katt as our lead, which I thought did phenomenal as our lead. Roger Cobb. This is the guy from... I didn't even know this until a friend pointed it out to me. That this is the guy from Carrie. He's Carrie's date in that film. So I thought that was very cool. I thought he did a good job in that and did a good job in this film. You also have George Wendt as Harold Gordon, which is his neighbor. I know I've seen him in plenty of films as well. And you also have the Duke from Jason Goes to Hell in this movie, which Stephen Williams, who's, like I said, the Duke from Jason Goes to Hell. I love that movie. I love that character, so it's pretty cool seeing him in this movie. This is before Jason Goes to Hell. And this was a very awesome horror film, I must say. This was very, very cool. It says here came out in 1985, but it also says February 1986 in the U.S., so maybe it came out in a wider release in 1986. I don't know. But yeah, this was a very, very awesome film. I was really impressed with it. And the story is very basic. You have this guy whose aunt basically commits suicide, and his life is kind of in a rut. He's writing this Vietnam story. He's a famous author, but nobody really wants to read that. They want him to make another horror novel. And when his aunt passes away, he goes and looks at the house and says, I'll use this for some solitude, and I'll write my book here. And he starts writing his book, and things start happening. You think it'll be one movie with the ghosts and stuff, but then it turns into another movie, and we'll get into it a little bit more detail. But man, this was a fun film to watch. I know there's also a House film from the 70s, but maybe I'll watch that too. That actually does look pretty cool. I must say the poster looks pretty interesting in that movie. And I heard it was a crazy movie, so maybe one day I'll see that House. There's a lot of House movies out there. But, yeah, this was just a very, very pleasant time. Really got into the cast. I thought William Katt as our lead did a really, really awesome job. And, it's funny because when you go into a horror film like this, I just love it when performances surprise me. And I still have this nasty cough. I'm sorry about that. I've had it forever. But You know, when you go to movies like The Blob and Fright Night, and you go in, which really, those are both late to mid 80s horror films too. Lost Boys. It's very, very awesome to see these movies that have great performances in them. I mean, Evil Dead as well with Bruce Campbell. It's just very, very cool seeing that. I think William Katt does a great job because he's very comedic, but yet when the character needs to be sad or sorrowful, he pulls it off. You know, the emotional struggling, when he needs to be, like, you know, nervous and, you know, kind of in oh shit mode, he does a great job at that. He does a great job at being serious when he needs to be. He does a great job at being, you know, frightened and scared. So really, I thought that was a bad voice. That was bad voice crack, but really, I thought William Katt did a great job as the lead. I thought he showed a lot of emotion in this movie. Just did a phenomenal job as our lead. And I also enjoy his neighbor character. I just really thought he brought a lot of great humor to the film. The movie has a lot of great comedy that I thought really fit the movie, and it didn't really get in the way of the scares. It was still pretty creepy at times. And I must say, this movie has some of the most impressive makeup effects I've seen in a long time. I mean, this is up there with The Stuff and The Blob and The Thing, The Fly. A lot of thes there, but those films have phenomenal makeup effects. And this movie really does. It really has solid-looking monster creatures and just the really weird designs I really got into. And some of the wacky humor to this film I got into as well. But I was really impressed with the designs of the creatures, the way they look. They have a distinct look to them. They have these really weird voices. Just really, really well done, the creature ghosts in this film. And yeah, the makeup effects are solid. The acting is great. There are certain scenes that I really enjoy, like when William Katt thinks he shoots his girlfriend and it gets up and this giant monster just pops up. Or William Katt is babysitting this kid and this kid gets like pulled into the fireplace. He has to help the kid get out of the fireplace. Or, you know, he tells his neighbor, I'm hunting raccoons, so you just stay right here. Here's a harpoon. And just that whole scene was hilarious, man, because I thought George Wendt did a great job just selling that scene. You know, here's my grandfather's harpoon gun, or not his grandfather, his uncle's harpoon gun. Hand it to him. He's like, "Are you ready?" And the hero character's just like, "Yeah, we're ready." Then he opens it, and this giant monster comes out. Practical, beautiful effect, and the hero character just freaks out. He's like, "Damn it! I told you to shoot that monster!" And he gets pulled in the door. Dude, that's such a great scene. The scene where the swordfish on the wall comes to life. And I don't know about anybody else, but I got some really... This is before Evil Dead 2. I got some really strong Evil Dead 2 vibes from this film. And this is 85. Well, most knownly from 86. But still, that's a year before Evil Dead 2. And you have him getting the double-barrel shotgun, getting the bullets, putting it in the pocket. You have a shot where he's walking down a narrow hallway, and I swear it's the exact same angle as in Evil Dead 2, where Ash, with the shotgun, walking down the hallway. I've seen that shot before, and here it's the same thing at William Katt, double-barrel shotgun, walking down the hallway. And even having the idea of a stuffed, fish on the wall moving with the eyes. I mean, all you had to do was make it laugh, and it was the deer head, Just got some real strong Evil Dead 2 vibes. So I wonder if Sam Raimi watched this movie and said, "Hey, I like that," and decided to homage it. I like to think that happened, but I don't know. But that'd be really cool if it did happen. But yeah, it's just got a wonderful score too. This is a score by Harry Manfredini, which really, if you've heard one Harry Manfredini score, you've heard them all. I've heard his score in plenty of films, and they sound like Friday the 13th, which isn't a bad thing, because it can actually bring a really cool score to the film. And also, in this movie, Harry Manfredini did a lot of synth stuff, which I thought sounded really cool. So the score is brilliant. The cinematography, the shots of the house, the way the house looked, I thought was creepy and moody. Steve Miner, big fan of Steve Miner. Love Lake Placid, probably the biggest fan of Lake Placid in the world because nobody else likes that movie. I'm like, you want to see a lame Lake Placid? Watch Lake Placid 2. I know there's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't care. But I know everybody doesn't like Lake Placid 1. I love that movie. Huge fan of it. Huge fan of stuff like Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3 and 3D. I'm a really big... I know he's made more. I wasn't really into Halloween H2O, and I'll say I'm not a fan of Day of the Dead, but I'm really a big fan of Steve Miner, and this is easily one of his best movies. Really, really solid film from Steve Miner. And the shots and cinematography are solid. It's filmed well. It looks great. I love certain creative... It's just a creative horror film. It's so original. You know, and I love the Vietnam aspect, which when you bring that into this movie, you're thinking, it's not going to be done that well. It's actually done pretty well in this movie, the whole Vietnam aspect and having flashbacks and the ghost in this house kind of using that to mess with the lead character's head. And I was thinking like, as so many horror films bring the Vietnam thing in there and it just kind of doesn't really, that most films don't really do it very well. But this film actually did it pretty well. I mean, you have a flashback to where one of his friends gets, shot, and he tells William Katt to kill him. The character Roger can't do it, and he leaves, and that character he finally got tortured and killed. And, spoiler alert, I guess, this is kind of an older movie, but he is responsible for this haunting. The guy who he left to die, well, not really meaning to, but he couldn't kill him, and he didn't mean to leave him there, but the guy that he left there comes back from the dead and is pretty much responsible for this haunting in this house. Such an original idea, such a cool concept, and the ghosts in this movie are very unique. They're not possessed people, they're not actual apparitions, they're not spooky ghosts, they're creatures, monsters, ghouls, and I like that. It's such a cool way to do it, and I love the way they look. It's all practical, and this is really a good showcase of, you can do practical effects and make it look beautiful. Just the creature designs I really got into, and especially this one right here, which is the main bad guy of the movie. And him and William Katt have a great fight at the end of the movie. And, William Katt being thrown down the stairs, and when he punches the, bad guy, he just punches him, and he's screaming, yeah, putting so much emotion into it. It really sold the scene. Like him taking his anger out on this guy, because also William Katt's son disappeared. He was missing. And William Katt was looking for his son, and you found out that the ghost had also kidnapped his son. And so he gets his son back, and it's a great moment for the film. I also really love this idea where his mirror, some of the ideas I liked, one of them was the mirror is like this doorway to another world, and he goes down in there, and he's just pitch black, and you're hearing these weird synth noises, boop, boom, boom, beep, really weird noise effects. And this flying creature just flies in and out and takes his gun and shoots the rope, and he falls into this water. It's just such a cool idea. You're going to hear a lot for this. It's just a really neat idea. And you have some fun scenes, like when he kills the monster, he celebrates, he's all happy about it, buries it in the backyard, you have that music playing, which I love. That song, I can't remember the song right now, but it was such a great piece of music. And not only is the movie's soundtrack good, like the score, but also the songs in the movie I thought were really, really awesome. I just thought they were really great songs. That song, You're No Good, which was a great song. You're no good. So that was awesome. Just great songs, too, for the end credits and everything like that. Yeah, wonderful music. But yeah, like the events in the movie, the storyline, the way they did the ghosts, the creatures, the effects. This is just a really solid horror film, House. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's easily one of Steve Miner's best films. This is such a great horror film. Very, very fun. It's got a great sense of horror to it, but also a good sense of humor. It has a heart to it. It has passion behind it. I mean, you have Steve Miner, Fred Dekker on the writing. You've got Harry Manfredini on the score. You've got Sean S. Cunningham producing these two movies. You've got William Katt as the lead. And then you've got, a little cameo by Jason Goes to Hell's The Duke. So, I mean, like, as a horror fan, watching this movie was a lot of fun. Just, watching it and knowing who's involved in the movie. Just a very, very fun time. Loved House a lot. Yeah, this is definitely a really, really solid horror film. So, yeah. I'm going to give House easily an 8 out of 10. It's just a great, great fun time. Really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, William Katt is awesome. The rest of the cast is really cool as well. You got some hot babes in there, which is pretty nice. You've got just, great time, man. Music, cinematography, story, characters, events, fun time. Fast movie, well directed, well made. Yeah, House is definitely a classic. But anyways, guys, my review on House. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this film in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching the review. And yeah, that'll be it for tonight. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. The Explorer of Horror is out. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.